Could Micah Parsons end up with the Buffalo Bills? Welcome into this edition of Bills Breakdown, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we are going to dive into the latest trade rumors involving the Dallas Cowboys star pass rusher. We'll tell you all about it coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, folks, we just passed up 1,000 subscribers on the channel, and we want to bring you even more Bills content, but we need the Bills Mafia to do their part. So here's my challenge for the Bills Mafia out there today. If we can get 20 subs off of today's video, then we're going to even bring you more content than ever before as we continue to grow this channel. More subs means more videos here on the channel. Simple as that. Subscribe now for free, and we'll get started with this edition of Bills Breakdown. Micah Parsons of the Dallas Cowboys, he's had a fantastic career so far there with them boys. And you look at the Buffalo Bills, a team that was awfully close to getting to the Super Bowl this past season, trying to figure out what they need to do to take that next step to get over the hump. Could a guy like Micah Parsons potentially be the difference that the Bills are looking for? And also, what about the cost? Is it too much? Is it worthwhile for Buffalo to bring him in? The reason why we're talking about this is because of a new report that came out within the last couple of days from Ian Rapoport of the NFL Network, one of their insiders over there, and he was talking about what's going on with Micah Parsons as he enters his fifth year with Dallas, new head coach, and Brian Schottenheimer and company. And he said that there are internal discussions ongoing in regards to Micah Parsons' future. And the question that the Cowboys are asking themselves, do they pay him or do they trade him? They have not come up with a resolution one way or another just yet. And this comes on the heels of, if you recall, around this time a year ago, there was reports of frustration within the Cowboys organization in Frisco of people in the front office that simply just didn't like Micah Parsons and felt like they could be better off potentially without him. So does that mean he could be traded, and could Buffalo be a potential fit? Let's hear from Ian Rapoport of NFL Media, who said the following. Normally open with his opinions, the Cowboys' 25-year-old superstar hasn't said much of anything about the team's promotion of Brian Schottenheimer after a surprising parting of ways with head coach Mike McCarthy, a move Parsons called devastating. While there have been no trade talks, sources say there have been at least some internal discussions about whether to pay Parsons or trade him for a king's ransom. If the Cowboys are willing to listen, they may get it. Cowboys COO Stephen Jones told NFL.com in December that the team will study the wisdom of having so much money invested in so few players, but added, I can't imagine there's a scenario where he's not wearing a star on his helmet. Parsons is due about $24 million on the fifth-year option year on his rookie contract in 2025. It would cost an arm and a leg to pull this off, to bring Micah Parsons to Buffalo, or for any team for that matter, if there's going to be a trade, giving up said king's ransom here. But if you're the Buffalo Bills, the reason why you would consider this, let's say for all intents and purposes, you believe that the difference between you and Kansas City in getting to that Super Bowl and winning that Super Bowl is one player. If you believe it's one defensive player like Micah Parsons, then this could make sense. But if you're sitting here and you're saying to yourselves, you know what, we actually have too many holes to fill and we would potentially have to give up too much, then it might not be worth it. And also the money factor of how much he would potentially cost in his new contract. More on that later. So, with that being said, I think the best case scenario for Buffalo of a potential trade for them would be giving up Ed Oliver, their first-round pick at 30, and a second-round pick at 56 to get Micah Parsons. And that sounds like a lot, especially when you consider the contract and the money circumstance as well to bring in Micah Parsons on top of that. So what do you guys think? With this trade idea out there, should the Bills trade for Micah Parsons? It's our pinned comment today. Weigh in. Let us know what you think. Type T for trade, P for pass, and chime in if you think they should bring in Micah Parsons or not. Micah Parsons already has had a fantastic career in the National Football League, a four-time Pro Bowler in all 4 seasons that he's been in the NFL, a 2-time first-team All-Pro, his rookie campaign in his second season in 2022. He was named the NFL's Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2021, and he's been one of the best players in football at his position, and he's done everything well. He has been phenomenal at getting after the quarterback. He's had 12 sacks in every season that he's been in the NFL, and you think about it, too. He's had a lot of attention paid to him as well with being the key piece to that Dallas Cowboys defense, and you can see he's been able to force fumbles, get the tackles for loss. On top of the tackles and everything, his numbers have been very consistent throughout all 4 seasons. And you could argue this past year was his worst year because he only played in 13 games, the least amount compared to other seasons. But yet, even with that said, he still had a fantastic year this year. According to Spotrac, his market value of how much he's actually worth on the open market is about 3 years, $90.12 million. But even with that said, let's just say for all intents and purposes, he did reach the open market. In all likelihood, there would be enough teams desperate for Micah Parsons that he would probably get paid even more than that potentially. Here's the deal if you're the Buffalo Bills here. You'd have to give up a king's ransom, and you'd have to pay him a lot of money as well. And at the end of the day, I think that's too much for one player, especially considering what you've already invested in this Buffalo Bills franchise with the money you're paying Josh Allen and a number of other guys here already, and you're not in a great cap position, it's going to be very tough to bring Micah in and still improve the roster based on what you would have to lose and the salary you'd have to slash in order to make it work. Now, let me make this clear. This is not an indictment at all on Micah Parsons' talent level. I'll be the first to tell you that Micah is one of the very best, and he would be awesome in Buffalo. I have every reason to think that he would thrive in this defense. But for me, I think it's just simply too high of a cost for Buffalo to pay when you talk about what you would give up in a trade and then what you give up money-wise. Parsons currently on the final year of his rookie deal, $24 million. And then you got to pay him the long-term contract after that. If I'm the Buffalo Bills, I think this team is going to be aggressive this offseason, that they are going to make a big move or two, whether it be in free agency or in the trade market of sorts. But I think that Micah Parsons is probably one that's a bit too high for them to potentially go after. And in all honesty, I think the Cowboys would be crazy to move on from Micah Parsons. I think they're going to find a way to keep him one way or another. However, if the Bills are going to make a trade, who is a player the Bills should trade for? Give me a name in the comment section that comes to mind that you would like to see in Buffalo. For continuing Buffalo Bills coverage, subscribe now to Bills Breakdown by Chat Sports. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.